I'm Charles Winter Jr. Welcome to the schedule release. Smash with cheese. Yeehaw! Teddy. Green bird. Oops.
Three QB sneaks in a row, man.
Oh, I broke the table. I didn't hit that, but I broke the table though. I went crazy with that. I ain't gonna lie, man. Hey.
This concludes our 2022 schedule release. Can't wait to see you guys out there.
And welcome on into Command Center, Julie Donaldson, along with London Fletcher. Glad to have him here in studio, but man, it kind of makes me want to smash something watching that. I am hyped for the season.
I'm very hyped for the season. Just very creative. Who could watch that and not be ready to smash something, Julie?
Major props to Joe Palace putting that video together, of course, seeing the Commanders come on in. And if that is exactly how we are going to attack this season and attack the schedule. But hey, the schedule is out. You ready to get into it?
I'm ready.
Okay, let's start breaking this down, folks. Right there with week 1. It will be at FedEx Field against none other than the Jaguars. And boy, have they had some tough times. September 11th, 1 p.m. kickoff. They've only had 4 wins in 2 seasons.
Yeah, you know, if you want to get off to a great start, this is a great opportunity. They'll have a new head coach in Doug Peterson, but what better way to start the season off than a team that's kind of going through transition?
Maybe I'll get Mom in town for that one. It's where I'm from. All right, after that, we hit the road to Detroit, Michigan for a showdown with the Lions, a team that finished 3-13-1 last year.
Detroit's a tough place to play. We know they're going to play you tough. The head coach, he wants to bite kneecaps and do things like that.
Yeah, he does.
But I feel like we can go in there and get a win.
And then week 3 back at FedEx for the NFC East Division rivalry game against the Eagles, September 25th. Carson Wentz against the team that drafted him number 2.
Yeah, I think Carson going to have that game scheduled. As soon as he sees this, that game will definitely be scheduled.
For sure. And we follow that up with the first matchup of the season against our biggest rival, bound to Big D, to Dallas, October 2nd.
Who doesn't like to play the Dallas Cowboys?
Well, we better.
Especially in Dallas.
We lost 9 of the last 12 against them, so there's time for some revenge for sure. And then here's a snapshot of the first 4 games of this season. As we mentioned, look, those first few games on paper should be wins. And then Philadelphia, not going to be an easy out. They've had their fair share of the postseason. We'll see how they do. And that's going to be a motivational game for Carson Wentz as well. Glad it's here. And then, of course, we don't have to wait too long to get to Dallas. I think that's really important. You know, last year, London, we had to wait until the final part of the season. 5 games against division opponents. Not having to wait that long right here, and not having to wait that long to get right to the Cowboys as well.
Yeah, you know, you look at the schedule, and obviously the first game against the Jacksonville Jaguars jumps out to you. Hey, it's an opportunity to get off to a great start. But then the game that Carson Wentz is going to have circled, the game against the Philadelphia Eagles, he's going to have to keep his emotions in check. I played against my former teams, and I wanted to go out and play well. I can remember a story when I'm playing against the Rams when I left there, and Torrey Holt, who's a great friend of mine, prior to the game, we're talking on the field, and Torrey's like, "Hey, London, how's it going?" I'm looking at him, and I say, "Torrey, I can't wait to knock your ass out." That's how you feel when you're going against your own team, your former team. But Carson is going to have to understand he doesn't have to win the game by himself. Coach, he has players. I'm sure Coach Rivera will tell him, "Hey, rely on your skill, guys. Don't feel like you have to do everything by yourself."
And you know, I talked to him about that, of course, coming here and saying, you're going to be able to circle 2 former teams against the Eagles and the Colts. And I said, you know, I think there's some benefit for this one because he's like, he knows what he's going to face when he goes to Philly. There's benefit to him probably facing the Eagles for the first time because he says there's going to be a lot of familiar faces. And I said, is it more friends or is it more foes? He's like, it's both, but now that he's on this side, it's got to be foes. But it's to your point that it's a little friendly competition, but you do want to smash them.
Yeah, you absolutely want to smash them. You're going against your former team, and then week 4, we go to Dallas. And we remember, everybody remembers what happened.
Worst loss that Washington has ever had against the Cowboys.
We remember what happened the last time we went down to Dallas. That 56-14 drubbing at the hands of the Dallas Cowboys. That's something you have an opportunity. You're going to remember that. And when you go into Dallas, another division opponent, a team that won our division last year, that made the playoffs, this is an opportunity for us to go in there and kind of right the ship, so to speak.
Do you like seeing, because we have back-to-back division games, do you prefer having them earlier in the season as opposed to waiting until the final stretch to figure out where you're going to stand?
I would love to play my division games early in the season. You know, the fact that they're going to have the back-to-back games against Philadelphia and Dallas, 2 teams that made the playoffs out of our division, 2 teams that we're gunning for. We know, hey, we have to get through Dallas, we have to get through Philly in order to win the division. I would much rather play my division games earlier in the season as opposed to waiting to the latter half of the season to play those games.
And for everybody, of course, we want to pack out FedEx Field. You get to open up the season against a game that by all means should be winnable. For the first 48 hours, there are no fees, but we have got to take back FedEx Field. A lot of exciting stuff going on this year for you to make sure you join into. But that's just the first half of the schedule. Let's continue on. Here we are now at week 5, back at home, welcoming Derrick Henry and the Tennessee Titans for a 1 o'clock kickoff on October 9th. They had 12 wins last season, London.
Let's make Ryan Tannehill beat you. That's what I'm thinking.
Well, guess what? They have a rookie too, but he's not mentoring him, so this will be Ryan Tannehill all day long. Week 6 sees us heading to the Windy City for a battle with Chicago Bears. Thursday night football, 8:15. I don't know if it's too cold then, but it's always cold.
That's going to be a great atmosphere. The Chicago Bears, they have great fans. That stadium's going to be electric.
And they have a new head coach as well. We catch a little break after the Thursday game before hosting the Packers at FedEx Field October 23rd.
Oh, you like cheese? Maybe
No.
we need a little cheese in FedEx against the Aaron Rodgers-led Green Bay Packers.
Because, of course, Aaron, all that hype he was leaving, of course he wasn't leaving. We'll have to take him on. And week 8, we are back on the road heading to Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis for the Colts. This one again, another former team for Carson Wentz.
Another former team, but that Colts offense, they're led by that guy right there, Jonathan Taylor. So we're going to have to bring our hard hats.
Our first trip there since 2014. So here's a look at weeks 5 through 8. Takes us all the way through October, taking a look at this. I think you're probably really glad you don't have to see Chicago, too late in the season because that can be really cold temperatures. But, it's still a trip up north, out away. Green Bay this time, we were on the road last year facing them. And so we get them here at FedEx Field.
Yeah, you look at that schedule. We all know what the Tennessee Titans bring, and it starts with Derrick Henry. You have to stop Derrick Henry. Make Ryan Tannehill beat you throwing the football. Going to Chicago on a short week, a Thursday night football game, that atmosphere is going to be great. The one thing you love about it, they got a new head coach in Matt Eberflus. They got a young quarterback in Justin Fields, who was sacked 36 times. They didn't do a whole lot to improve that offense. I like our ability to go in there and then the Packers are at home. Who doesn't want to face Aaron Rodgers at home?
I'm getting so pumped already. I feel like I need to smash something right now. Talk about smashing. Cole Holcomb, he's really good at that. So we're going to get back to the schedule in a minute, but we need to bring in one of the current Commanders into the mix. Linebacker Cole Holcomb, in his third season with the team, he started 16 games, accounted for 142 tackles, 66 of those solo, posted a sack, 2 interceptions to his stat line as well, and one of those being a pick 6. I talked with defensive coordinator Jack Del Rio, who had this to say about Cole.
Yeah, I think Cole Holcomb, when we first got here, he had played his rookie year, a little raw. We liked some things about him. He played better that next year, and then last year he took a huge step forward. He really played very well. In fact, a lot of the guys that are getting the pub around the league, he played as well or better than. So I would say don't sleep on Cole Holcomb. He's a pretty good football player.
Cole, last season, obviously a big transition for you, and we heard Jack Del Rio, defensive coordinator, kind of sing your praises on how you kind of adjusted and really high expectations for where you're going to be able to go. But where do you feel you are now in your offseason program?
I feel like I'm gonna, take control of this defense, take charge at that Mike spot. I've been wanting it for a while, and I like, that responsibility and taking control and being able to, kind of get everybody lined up, make the adjustments that we need to make. And, I feel like it helps me be able to call it when you're at that Mike spot. We tried initially, like I was calling the defense from outside, and it was kind of hard to be able to relay a call to the other side of the defense if I'm playing outside. So I think it helps a lot in terms of our communication and getting on the same page as a defense.
Where's your comfort level in that right now, would you say?
I feel real comfortable. Like I said, I was calling the defense all last year. Had a little bit of that responsibility the year before, a couple games, tried it out. I feel like I've grown a lot in terms of, being comfortable in those situations. Sometimes bullets are flying, waiting for a call to come in. Everybody's looking at you. Hey man, we need a call. We need this. We need. I think I grew a lot as the year went on.
Now we have the schedule out, so who you're going to be calling those games against.
Yeah.
Are there certain teams that you kind of get geeked for, or more look forward to, saying, okay, these are ones I might want to circle personally on my calendar?
Dallas is always number one. I originally thought I was going to Dallas, so when I didn't get the call from them, I was like a little mad that day. So I was, but then I was obviously really excited once I got the call from Washington. And
well, you had the pick 6 against Dallas as well.
Oh yeah.
So you have some good games against them.
No, it's
personal. It
is a little personal. They were telling me, hey man, we're going to take you, and then it never happened. And then I got the call from Washington, so I was like, it's time to make them pay.
Cole, looking forward to the season coming up with you. Thanks.
Thanks for having me.
And more of the schedule to come. Commanders 2022 schedule. It is out. London Fletcher's with me breaking it down, including those ever important NFC East division rivals. More Command Center right after this.
I'm Charles Miller Jr. Welcome to the schedule release.
And welcome back to Command Center, the schedule release special. London Fletcher is with me, and we're diving right back into the 2022 schedule. We're up to week 9, the first game in November. The Minnesota Vikings come to town November 6th for a 1 p.m. kickoff. The return of Kirk Cousins the once offensive coordinator Kevin O'Connell takes over as head coach.
You like that? Not here, Kirk. I'm going to like the Washington Commanders getting that dub against the Minnesota Vikings.
I like what you just did there. Week 10 is our next NFC East Division game, heading to Philadelphia to take on the Eagles. Monday Night Football. Oh, my God. Okay, Carson Wentz, keep it cool. No nerves. Keep it calm.
Yeah, those Philly faithful, man, they're going to be booing like crazy against Carson Wentz.
Leave those batteries at home, folks. Don't throw them at Carson. Week 11, we are going back to Texas, but this time it's to take on the Houston Texans. Kickoff is set for 1 p.m. November 20th. Not a new head coach. Well, a new head coach, but not a new head coach in Lovie Smith.
Yeah,
he's been around the block a few times.
A team in kind of transition, with Lovie Smith. This is his third head coaching job in the NFL.
And then it's the Atlanta Falcons. No longer is Matty Ice there. Matt Ryan, 1 p.m. on November 27th.
You know, Arthur Smith, the head coach of the Falcons, he once was.
Yes, he was.
He once worked for the defensive side of the ball
Yes, he
in
was.
Washington.
Look at that. And, well, here we go. That was an exciting one last year down there. Here's another look at weeks 9 through 12. So we have NFC East Eagles right there in this week. This is where you're starting to get to the meat of the schedule. Teams are starting to take a really good look at their form. I'm kind of excited to see Kirk Cousins and see what Kevin O'Connell can do as head coach with the Vikings. But a lot of changes with these teams, too.
A lot of changes. You mentioned Kevin O'Connell being the new head coach in Minnesota. You know, Kirk Cousins coming in here. Hopefully our fans will treat him the way that we expect Carson Wentz to get treated once he goes back to Philadelphia. Hey,
me?
Well, listen, he didn't want to stay here. So I need our fans to remember that and treat Kirk appropriately. Speaking of that game going into Philadelphia, I played in Philadelphia on a Monday Night Football, and as our bus was driving into that stadium, they started throwing eggs at us. The fans, I mean, they're going to be out in full armor and ready to go. So Carson, that's when he's really going to have to keep his emotions in check, because this is his first opportunity to face his Eagles in Philadelphia, and I know he wants to play well in that ball game.
You can't help but wonder if he's going to get a certain amount of respect of being cheered, or if it's just going to be flat out boos. I think he's going to prepare himself for that fan base, which is going to be tough. Maybe it's one of those things, respecting throughout the entire game, they're going to haggle him. There's no such thing. There's no such thing as nice in Philadelphia.
The Philadelphia fans, they're going to 1,000% boo Carson Wentz. That's just who they are. That's how they operate.
This is the stretch where you feel like you should have a clear grasp, like I said, on where your team is.
You know, as you look at kind of that block of games and you say, okay, this is an opportunity for us to really make some hay. You know, you got Minnesota at home. You play a Houston team that they struggled last year, for lack of a better word. They won 4 games. You play Atlanta at home, 7-10. They don't have Matt Ryan running that offense anymore. Matt had a good game against us last year in Atlanta. So those are 3 games where you say, hey, if you're looking at the schedule, WWW. Now the game in Philadelphia is going to be tough. I'm not going to kid you. Those division games, you throw the records out of the window. But it will be a tough game. It's one that you'll get up for because it's on Monday Night Football. You
know, last year we had D'Angelo Hall in the booth. You're going to be with us this year throughout the season. We were in that game in Philadelphia trying to call it, and it was the COVID game where we were down more than almost half the roster trying to figure out who was playing and who wasn't. But it's so nice to finally kind of feel like we're free and out of that, and we will be able to at least know who's going into that game as well. Okay, let's carry on. We've got more of the roster to get to, or more of the schedule to get to here. Week 13, we kick off the December slate with a trip up to take on the division rival New York Giants. Yes. Kickoff 1 p.m. on December 4th. The New York Giants, they have a new head coach in Brian Daboll. Will they have a new quarterback by the time we play them? New general manager? New general manager. You think Daniel Jones is gone? I don't know. I'm a Daniel Jones fan just personally because I know him. He's from Charlotte. But, you know, we got the bye week, and then we play the Giants again. We'll see. That's it. So here we go. Now, finally, bye week in week 14, then the Giants come to FedEx Field. And then we get week 16, a Saturday game on Christmas Eve, heading west to take on the San Francisco 49ers. That's a 4 or 5 kickoff. What do you think of a December 24th? Distraction. You're going to have to be focused. And that San Francisco 49ers team, they made the NFC championship game last year. Week 17, New Year's Day game against the Cleveland Browns. They've struggled recently. They have, but they'll probably have Deshaun Watson under center at the quarterback position when we play them. Yeah, he might be back by this time. We don't know how long that suspension may be or not. And how about this, London? We close out the season on January 7th or the 8th at home against the Dallas Cowboys. What a way to end the regular season. I'm predicting it right now. That game is going to be flexed into prime time, Julie, because that game is going to decide the division. That's something I guess that you may like as we take a look at here the final release. First off, what kind of really jumps out to me, and you tell this too, is like that is a really late bye week. Absolutely, very very late bye week. I've never been on a part of a team where the bye came in week 14 and so late. Ideally you would like your bye to happen maybe around the mid part of the season, but it's gonna take some some physical toughness, some mental toughness with a bye coming that late in the season
Coach Del Rio and Coach Rivera. They're going to have to, and Scott Turner, they're going to really have to make sure they manage how they practice those guys to keep them fresh with the bye week happening.
There might have been a few choice words when they saw when that was coming in the schedule. But again, wrap it up against the Cowboys. Now, when we come back, we're going to talk about scoring tickets in those home games at FedEx Field and find out which game London is most fired up for. That's next. Can't wait to get the season kicked off at home week 1 against the Jags. And we want you to come see the Commanders at FedEx Field this season. And if you jump on and buy your tickets right now, you'll get them fee-free. It is a great way to secure your spot to watch the Commanders at home and save a little money in the process. And who doesn't like that? Head to our website, commanders.com, to visit the marketplace and snag your seats. We want to see you at the stadium this season. Okay, London, so now we have seen the schedule, and we're going to have you in the booth where Bram Weinstein calling the games. Is there one in particular that you're like, you are circling on your calendar?
Well, I'm going to circle the very first game against Jacksonville because that will be my debut in the booth with you and Bram. So,
Excited.
you know, that's the one I'm most looking forward to. It's going to be like I'm a rookie, which I will be a rookie in the booth. It'll be an opportunity to see the team for the first time in terms of with Carson Wentz under center, see Jahan Dotson, see Chase Young, and see what that defense looks like this year. So that's the game as I look at this season. I'm circling that one, but then I can't. It's not only just one game, Julie. I have to admit, I'm also looking forward to the Week 18 matchup against the Dallas Cowboys.
So you're opening and closing the season.
At home, because I feel like that game right there is going to determine the winner of the NFC East this year.
Well, the Cowboys did win that last year. Of course, we had it the year before that, but they had a really early exit.
They did, yeah.
We'll see
I
what
love
adjustments
that.
are made.
You know,
I
misery
know.
loves company. So if we couldn't make the playoffs, I was happy to see the Cowboys lose in that first round game.
Okay, the schedule is out again. No fees for the first 48 hours. Excited to have you in the booth with Bram Weinstein and myself. Thanks for joining us on Command Center, and make sure you go buy your tickets because we need you there at FedEx Field. Let's go Washington and take command.